Just had to confuse you a little bit. You know?
Yeah.
Make you wonder. I'm really glad Na'Vi keeps first banning this Terrorblade. Vega is one of like 3 teams I think that should be picking it pretty much every game. It's like them, OG, well, maybe just those 2. But anyway, it is first banned out, so putting Vega kind of in a spot where they can't fall back on comfort picks, and just the same bans on a Na'Vi, all of them here. And we see Vega mixing it up here, getting rid of the Coddle and the Clockwork, saying, try something new, Na'Vi. What do you got?
Well, yeah, they are gonna have to try something new indeed, and let's hope they got multiple dimensions to them, because that's those bans are gonna force them to, as you're getting at now. Storm Spirit again was kind of the key last game. We stressed it. It was such a smart final pick, to be fair as well, because of the lineup of Vega Squadron and how across the board they clearly were lacking crowd control for the most part. They do get Disruptor now. He brings a little bit more, you could argue, but it's not like. It's not like, okay, they can't pick Storm Spirit now. I mean, they still couldn't be just fine. They definitely need something else to go along with the Disruptor at the very least. Warlock will be taken by Na'Vi, though.
Any stun at this point, though, because what Disruptor does is gives you an ability that guarantees you can get something off on the Storm. And so if you pick a stun after that, Spirit Breaker works just fine. Then you can static into stunning him, and from there on out, it's not nearly as bad. Disruptor's kind of the enabler. Because like if they would have had that last game, then it's a lot easier to drop Chaotic Offerings on him or Tusk Punch him. You know, any of the CC options they did have available.
10 seconds remaining.
So Vega with the SP Darkseer, they're gonna run at you.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, that's gonna be annoying. It's Na'Vi definitely has their work cut out for them here. It's definitely a stressful combination to go up against. I mean, having the Shatter Word will be nice a little bit there, but it's that Ion Shell with the Spear Breaker running at you, getting some bash procs even thrown in there. It's bound to be a tough time for Na'Vi. So how do they respond to that? This 4th pick.
Well, all right. So you know Vega is going to be playing hyper aggressive at the level 3 to 5 mark on their off lane. Vega also has a nice little 3-man opening here as far as a recovery potential. If they're behind, the chance for hitting a vac wall into a kinetic field static storm is there, and that'll turn a fight unless you're down like 20,000 gold. So if you're Na'Vi, you want to be looking for greedy but safe heroes. So the storm could still be an option. I could see a TA being an option for them as well here. The Ion Shell does indeed just destroy Refraction, but it's a hero that once you have Blink, you can be relatively safe. The Puck, definitely a very strong potential here out of Na'Vi. And it kind of pairs well with the Warlock tree. It's just a question of, are you too all in on Teamfight if you go that way?
Yeah.
Because you've already got Overgrowth, you already have Chaotic Offering. Teamfights are kind of your bag right now. And even though Vega's Teamfight lineup looks pretty good, you can't fight into bonds. Like, you just can't. Every team that's tried has lost, and every team that's just, you know, either avoided team fights or made them very chaotic in multiple front has just picked the Warlock apart. So the Nyx is good here, especially if they want to go an Invoker.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen the power of the Nyx Invoker combo and setting up Sunstrikes and just applying a ton of damage. Most notably, it was one of the China games last night I was watching as I was going to bed. They ran a Nyx Sand King with an Invoker in mid, and it demolished. They got a level 1 first blood off the back of Burrow into Impale into Sunstrike. So if I'm Vega, that's what this draft is screaming out to me. It's not necessarily like a signature Dendy hero, but come on. When you've played Pro Dota since the beginning, I feel like you have to pick up Invoker.
I would hope Dendy's at least has the potential to play it. I mean, as you said, he's definitely one of these players that's been around forever. So I assume that his hero pool is pretty much anything that makes sense with the lineup here.
Well, in pubs, I know he's played it a ton. He has like 600 games on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so he's played it in competitive, 118 games. With a sub 50% win rate. It's the only hero he's played with that many games that has a negative win rate.
Oof.
It's actually the only hero in his top 20 with a negative win rate, period. So we'll have to see. Yeah, then like his win rates are monstrous. It's like 60% on anything he's got 60 games on or more, except in Invoker. So we'll have to see. Vega picking up the Slark here. This does a couple things for them. It gives them very nice way to take these fights very late game. You just trade constantly, you get a bunch of essence shift stacks, and then you're just this beast running around. And it provides a buff target, so they could also look to an invoker themselves between Pounce and Spirit Breaker Charge. You've got a couple ways to get that off. But I like something like a Puck out of Vega more, actually, than even on Navi. It rounds out their draft nicely, because they're not as cooldown reliant. You've got Glimpse to pull people back. Static Storm works super well with Coil, like maybe even better than with Kinetic Field, because if they're stunned under a Static Storm, it's even better than being Kinetic Fielded. So, we'll have to see what they want to go here. Lena's still an option that's in the pool. That's been picked a lot with mixed success.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you were sleeping already. You didn't see the Lena with the MKB yesterday, did you?
No. I didn't watch that.
Lena went like a pure right-click build and destroyed her axe in like 3 seconds. It was filthy.
That was in the Chinese Dota?
I believe so. I think it was LG. I think it was Vici against LGD, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I was half asleep. So we do see a TA ban here on a Navi, not wanting to give that back to Vega, thinking it was a problem in the early game. The OD ban, I see the idea behind it, but I feel like your team already handled it pretty well, but just doesn't want to play against an OD. That's fair. That's kind of what you get to do on the 5th ban.
Yeah. What do we not?
One part of it is if OD gets desperate and just slams an ult, it can actually break Vega's team if it does like no damage. If you burn out, because it's a huge mana burn if it doesn't hit a damage threshold, and if you're burning out Darkseer, Disruptor, and Slark's mana pool, they become so much less effective.
Dragon Knight.
Oh no. DK's back.
Navi's turn to pick.
I saw hints of this. I saw it a lot yesterday. NA ran it twice. China ran it twice. Just a super tanky hero that actually has tower sieging ability. So it gives them a safe option in the mid lane, something that can stand up to the tree. And are we going to see Dendi Timber?
Huh.
That's a relatively new one, actually.
Unless it goes Warlock. No, he's Timbersaw.
No. You're a couple years too late for that one.
Huh. So that was an interesting finish. Dragon Knight into Timbersaw as the mid
Yeah,
options.
Timber does fare very well into the DK matchup. Neither of them should die, like, ever. They both have a ton of armor, which means the massive damage out of tree right clicks are going to do way less. Spirit Breaker's ganks aren't going to do much. So after like level 3, it's going to be extremely hard to bring either of these mid laners down. And they're just going to have this little farming, fighting, do nothing war in middle, right up until about the point Denny hits 5 or 6. And that's the point it tips heavily in Timber's favor. Once you get up the Chakram, then all of a sudden you have the chance to catch and just do this insane amount of burst damage.
Well, we get a fun finish there of the draft and setting up for an entertaining game number 2 here. Again, 1-0 lead in favor of Na'Vi. Trying to close it out and move on to the playoff stage here, the Summit 7 qualifiers for the European CIS region even. So, get to see the towers and the still broken screen here.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, guys, this is the deciding series. Whoever wins this goes to playoffs. Na'Vi with the 1-0 lead after getting 2-0'd by Vega in the first round of this tournament. So, kind of a fighting back up through the losers bracket style here. Yeah. I mean, that happens even in a Swiss format.
Right now, taking a look at the brackets real quickly as we're in the pause to start things off. Again, Alliance has already advanced on from Group B here. They're the ones that knocked down Vega Squadron in a best-of-3 yesterday. And then we have Empire from Group B. So, going to at least be a couple of CIS teams, obviously with Empire already qualifying in one of these two. But the other one's going to be Mousesports versus Prodota, as we were talking about earlier. That'll be tomorrow, though. And again, right now it's scheduled to be 3 best-of-3s tomorrow, as will it be Mousesports versus Prodota, and then it'll also be the beginning of the playoff stage, if I'm not mistaken. So it's
yeah, and I believe it's going to be Empire versus the winner of this game. So if Na'Vi does compete in this
yes.
and move on, it's going to be the 2 CIS teams in a grudge match starting things off, and then Alliance versus their winner is going to be the follow-up series. And I love Swiss style. I really do. This group stage format, the way where the winners play the winners, losers play the losers, and then you have a decider game. Yeah. The fact that we get to see something like this kind of storyline in a group stage is just awesome. You know, Vega coming out with a strong 2-0 to start it off, and then Na'Vi grinding their way back through. These are the kind of stories I like in these tournaments.
Well, it's essentially so this isn't Swiss technically. This is GSL format. It's more the refer Swiss.
It's four-man Swiss. If it was GSL, you'd just play everyone in your group, and then they'd seed you out of it.
No. Honestly, they might be the same thing, but GSL format I've always known as it's basically like a mini bracket, it's a mini double elimination, kind of like what this is. Where Swiss is actually what we had at the Kiev. And where you don't play everyone technically, you just keep playing it, but you keep playing people that have your same record basically. So I guess in a sense it's also similar to it's actually probably Swiss referred to Swiss as well. To be fair, I think we're both right.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, well, I get what you mean here.
Anyways,
yeah.
But what I was gonna say about that, we actually had this. See, this was just a different way to do it, though, because this was actually more similar to what the Boston Major was with the group stages. Yeah. But the biggest problem with that was, so again, for an event like this where there's only 8 teams, and it's not nearly as, obviously it's still a big tournament, it's $100,000 land, but it's qualifiers for the regions. It's fine to have an event set up like this where the biggest criticism, though, of the Boston Major format was that they kind of almost like randomly shoved teams into each group. And it's like, well, how did they get there? Well, just because, it's like these imaginary seedings that kind of, set up for some teams to put them at a disadvantage earlier on. So,
well, and since we're paused, we have some time to talk about this. And there's merits and downsides to every single structure. In a perfect world, Swiss with a full 16-team roster is probably the most fair way to do it, but it gets to lead to some weird matchups, and some people don't like that. But CSGO's GSL seeding system, I think, is really solid, where they take their Legends teams, basically anyone that placed high enough in the last major, and those guys go into a pool where they're randomly drawn, and then they do tiered qualifiers. So basically the people that qualified in the first set of tiers are in one pool, and they draw out of those. And then the last chance tier are in their own pool, and they draw out of those, and those build your groups. And I think that's a better way to do it.
That's what the World Cup does, I'm pretty sure. Like that's what these big traditional sports tournaments even do. I believe it's very similar, if not that kind of format as well. So, the idea of actually a drawing stage, like broadcasting a drawing stage, I feel like would be so fun, right? Like that would actually be really cool if one of these majors especially was to do something along those lines. But
that would be really cool to see. And the other thing I'd like to see, if we ever got to that point of stability, would be like if teams actually got secure and had these big sponsor deals, and your livelihood is made more on like a franchise style versus a did you win this tournament style. I would love like a yearly draft season where you have a week where it's drafts open and all the unsigned players get announced, and there's this big signing, and rather than the let's update Reddit furiously after every major. Wow, Slayer got it.
Yeah, that was well played by
Sima
Sima.
ended up getting the charge in. That was sick.
Perfect timing right there. Yeah, no, that's the discussion we could definitely save for another time, and maybe on a certain podcast show that I do. I'm just saying. Top pro.
Oh, do you want me as a repeat guest on that?
That's
I don't know.
That's actually awkward because I don't. So
yeah,
maybe I can talk with somebody else about it. No. All right, back to this game though. We got game number 2 again. So Na'Vi versus Vega, as it suggests at the top here. Even it's a 1-0 lead for Na'Vi.
Let's talk about the lane situation here. So we've got an aggro trail in on a Na'Vi. Benefit of aggro tries, you put a ton of pressure on Slark, who is an awful laner pre-6, and you stop their supports from roaming. This is going to keep the Spirit Breaker pinned in the top lane for most of the early game here, taking a lot of pressure off of potential roams down on Dundee. The trade-off on this is General is going to be stuck in the spot lane.
Wow. God, I hate myself right now.
Did you miss it?
See, technically I didn't because I literally caught it right as he flipped over dead. But I missed the important stuff, yes.
All right.
I happen to be going to the other lanes quickly.
Competitive breakdown right now. Slark didn't realize there was an Invis tree standing on top of him. Slark skilled up too early and took S and Shift instead of Pounce at level 1 against Trilane. Slark fell over and died because he had no movement skill. Pretty much the entire extent of that engagement.
Yeah, you're right. Going S and Shift, I mean, obviously if he's just having a free farm lane, if this was going to be the Nyx assassin up here as he probably expected, then that makes sense. But yeah, not sitting on that skill point, that's one of those small things that you could suggest. That's definitely a mistake there.
Yeah,
Slark
and
then.
it bites him bad here because now the Slark's got to get to 2 still, which he's going to do on this creep wave. But then he's probably going to take Pounce. And if you take Pounce, then you can't purge off the stun, you can't purge off Shadow Word. So he's going to be vulnerable here for another minute or 2.
Yeah. Well, that's an unfortunate start, to say the least, for Vega Squadron, but obviously that's where Na'Vi and their decision to go aggressive trial lane definitely pays off already, so well played there. How about this matchup, though? Middle lane again. You talked about we got Timbersaw versus DK. Not often we're going to say that, but Timbersaw perhaps has the advantage here.
It is a really interesting matchup at the theory level. It is one of the most boring matchups in practice. Dendy's probably not even going to get Timber Chains until like level 7, level 8. So we're going to watch them just farm, and Dendy's going to queue every now and then, G's going to queue every now and then, and that's about it.
So keep the camera at the top lane, like I should have been doing from the beginning.
Uh-huh.
That's what you're saying, yeah. All right.
Yeah, because bot lane shouldn't do anything either. Nyx is going to get a point or 2 in mana burn, just mana burn the Darkseer over and over. Those 2 lanes should be entirely stagnant until like level 6.
Ooh,
See the glimpse.
Kinetic Field going to keep the bash chance away from Tree and Protector with that Nature's Guys. Running him down.
Yeah. And I like this item build here from Snako. He got a bunch of gold early on, and instead of getting boots, which would have let him run at stuff harder, he goes a Poor Man's. His armor is so bad that Poor Man's lets you take some hits without just losing all your HP on Tree.
Yeah, that is interesting, actually. Not often you see that on a Tree and Protector right off the bat, but has that with the Orb of Venom now, so he's definitely quite the harasser here. Speaking of that, Spear
He's not
Breaker.
in a good spot right now, though.
Yeah, Poor Man's Shield bulks him up, but if he's going to run into 3 heroes, I don't know if he's going to be able to survive through it. He's definitely going to be taking too much pressure, and he will go down. Dark Pact is picked up now by Slark here as he hits level 3. And to help keep him alive and also maybe get some kills in the end. But yeah, Tree Protector, just as we're getting at, he's tanky, and it's a good build. He probably felt a little too tanky there.
Yeah, I think he thought he was invis when he was looking over at Spirit Breaker. Like, he was near the tree line for a while, but he moved slightly out, which reset the timer. And, yeah, just got caught.
Yeah.
What else is there to say?
Unfortunate turn of events for him. Dendy, he sees the invis rune top. He's going to come back mid and doesn't want to miss any CS, but he knows he's in position to pick that up when he wants to. With that bottle of his.
I will say, General's playing this bot lane insanely well. Like, Darkseer should be 10 CS ahead by now. Is actually like 5 down. And it's strictly because of how well General's managing his mana pool, making sure he finds Darkseer, and not letting Darkseer run up with Ion Shells. So, nicely done from him. It's going to be a nice little gold lead for Nyx that Navi probably wasn't expecting.
Well, Pycat, also know he's definitely hitting creeps like a boss here, and that's showing off. 23-5. Slark, though, he's keeping up. He's 21-2. He did get a little bit of the jungle there, but still, overall, doing solid. But yeah, see these rotations coming out. You got Spirit Breaker all the way to the bottom lane now. Speaking of that Nyx success, they want to keep that in check. And top lane, Disruptor's going to port back in, but now it is a 3 versus 2 in favor of Na'Vi here. Oh, Pounce. They're going for Sadeko. He's actually going to have to TP out, but he's taking the tower damage, but he gets out. And no, he does not get out of time. What do I say? He got clips back right there and eventually killed off. So now Pycat actually on the run. Dark Pact going off right there. Did use that magic stick. It's not enough, though. He goes down. Warlock at least will escape, but, well, that worked out beautifully for Vega.
Yeah, minor positioning mistakes from Snako are really costing them in this lane. Just, you can't play up under tower. That's just way too risky. He got pounced in tower range. Afterlife, though, in a bit of trouble. No boots yet.
Radiant's top tower
not
is
going to be
under
brave.
attack.
All right.
He's going to run here. General wants to chase after him, though. He does have an impale.
Yeah,
Pycat is
Navi's
now
calling
in.
this lane lost. I mean, they're just going back to a defensive try. It's not about killing the Darkseer. It's about just getting Pycat farm again.
Yeah.
They're calling the trial lane done. They ended up getting General level 5, almost level 6. So pretty good time to call this loss if you're going to. He can go ahead and roam around with Vendetta very shortly, and that's going to be a potential kill on anybody except G. It's going to take like 4 heroes to kill G in the mid lane.
Wow, another Dragon form activated by DK. He's just simply using it to farm and harass with. So he's going to have to be careful though with the Nyx Assassin being here now though. But Timbersaw, level 3 reactive armor, so he's not feeling too scared. Poor man Joe Bottle has a very far worse case.
Yeah, he did opt for 1 point in Timber Chain, which is not super common on mid Timbers, but wanted the mobility and the A little bit of extra burst when he hits 6. So we'll give him a little more flexibility there at the cost of some Q damage.
Timbersaw, yes, comes the charge
Top lane,
actually.
top lane.
Well, I'm watching Timbersaw actually. He's also in a lot of trouble right here. Stun comes out from TK, and Timbersaw will fall top lane. It's
Ooh, Nyx's Vendetta on
Okay.
top of Slark and wanted to go. Never actually pulled the trigger, but. So yeah, Dundee falling. I was busy staring at top. Was he not as like with any reactive stacks? How did he end up dying there?
I don't even know. I feel like he did, but honestly, the Spearbreaker just charged in, and then with a port in from Disruptor as well, DK landed his stun after with the Tail Whip and Dragon Tail even, and just simply did more than enough damage to take him out. So
I like Tail Whip. Let's rename it.
yeah, I knew it was Tail something.
And he's going home, boys.
Oh yeah, he just got glimpsed, didn't he? That's awkward.
Disaster.
Yep. See ya back at base. That's got to be careful when TPing in against the Disruptor. So he's going to have to walk all the way back, and Elder Dragon Form activated again by the Dragonite right here. So DK, he's been doing fantastic. Not only has that kill now, but 46-9 here, as takes a little bit of pressure from the Q, the Whirling Death of Timbersaw.
Yeah. The real U does have a Midas in his quick buy right now, and if he does end up committing to that, that kind of tells you that Vega is perfectly content running this game as long as they can. They're in no hurry to go early. They don't feel like they need the Shadow Blade on Slark for the early pressure. So we'll have to see if he does commit to that. The one risk of that is if General gets a couple kills and gets ahead, Real U is going to be food for him for a very, very long time.
Dark's here right here. He doesn't know he's in a bit of a trap situation. He has a surge, but gonna need to use it pretty quickly. Bash. Yeah, he gets the bash off. It's only level 1, or it's level 2 actually, but
That's a
it's not
really
enough.
really long surge.
Yeah, the Shadow Word's gonna not
Last
be enough
tick.
damage. Oh man, that was actually really close. Regen though, just enough to keep him alive. So I'll make it back. But you're right, that surge seemed like it lasted forever. Right there, 6 seconds even.
Yeah, it's long.
Keeps him alive.
And that's what you get by not going that early point in the vacuum or that early point in the wall. You just get a lot more flexibility in it for yourself, where you really should never die. It'd take a pretty big misstep.
Yeah.
Dundee on the roam, looking to go top lane, try to kill Silent here. I don't think he's gonna see him. Yeah. No.
Yeah, they had the ward middle too to see him running up towards that way if anything. So it's clearly a rotation, and Silent's just like, yeah, I'm not going to stick around. No point.
I'll take that as tribute.
So Timbersaw wasting a little bit of time here, unfortunately. But General, he has Vendetta. He's almost kind of using Timbersaw as bait here.
He needs to find a kill with his Vendetta. He got a ton of gold early game, has Arcanes in 1,000. He needs to get to the 2K mark and then decide when he wants to go. Whether it's going to be Blink or Force or Dagon or even a Midas. But he needs one kill somewhere. Oh, he can't quite get into those trees without being seen. If Dundee caught him, he could.
Radiant's bottom tower
Poured
is
out
under
there, so he's
attack.
fine. Yeah, I was going to say, if he cut them, but at the same time, if you're Spiritbringer, it's like, what? What are you doing now?
Well, you could just throw a Chakram like top right and say, "Did you juke up here?" And
Yeah, true.
oops, I missed. The smoke though from Silent might get popped from General here. He saw it. He just didn't quite get in range to pop it, so it was called out. We'll see if Navi be careful. English is
Be
hard in the
careful.
morning.
Middle lane. Slark needed to be careful. Unfortunately, not careful enough. He gets taken out. Static Storm not really doing the most, though, because Kinetic Field was late from Silence. He glimpsed him back in, but that was just a desperate move on his part at that point. Trying to, make up a little bit at least. But nice find by General there.
Exactly what he needs. Because, I mean, the Midas looks like it's going to come online around 12 to 13 minutes now, which, if he didn't find that kill, you're looking at 16, 17, and that's really bad.
Yeah. Darkseer continues to work through the jungle here of the Radiant side. Is in a position to maybe set up a flank of sorts in the middle lane, but it's more concerned about farm right now. Getting that mech finished, of course. Going to be found by Treant Protector, though. Treant is level 6, did not get his overgrowth just yet, though. He's maxing out the living armor currently.
Yeah, very, very interesting to totally skip overgrowth.
Huh. You got Juggernaut now moving to the middle lane, though, so Navi wants to make a push. Oh, he wants an Omni Slash. He's not going to get it, though, I don't think. Oh, he will get the vision at the last second. Living Armor's up just in case as well. And he's going to run away. But the charge coming in. He charged a creep, however, and charged through him. And he'll just spin
That
away.
vision was so close.
Yeah. Just saw the tail end of him. So good time in there from Pyjamas. Middle lane, Dendy. Again, the reactive armor 20 stacks up, so he's going to be very tough to take down. What we saw earlier, they were able to burn through it. This
Good
time,
choice.
Timber chains away, and they'll forward. And he does have Tree Protector nearby, but again, Tree does not have Overgrowth just yet. Glimpse back in, the Kinetic Field Static Storm combo. This time will land, and down goes Timber, so I can't do anything about that at that point. And Spirit Breaker looking to catch more. Juggernaut caught initially with that stun, but now they want Tree Protector. And he's just simply going to try to run away. Has another living armor to use. Afterlife, meanwhile, feeling some pain. The Chaotic Offering coming out, and actually Darkseer will get picked off. So they lose Tree. No, Tree Protector, she stays alive. Now he's assisting for more kills. As the Fatal Bond's also spreading some nice damage. They take out Disruptor as well. Spiritbreaker going back in. Trying to maybe save DK if anything. And looks like he may end up doing that. DK's going in himself, though. And that's a very greedy move because now if he dies too, that's all for now for the Spiritbreaker. G, he is in trouble. Vendetta going in from General. They're going to find him right here. Impel in 3 seconds.
21 armor.
1. Yeah, you're right. He is a little too tanky. So they're going to back it off, but still a successful fight for Na'Vi.
Yeah, the DK is just borderline unkillable. If he turns Armlet on, he goes to almost 2,000 health and like 27 armor or something stupid. Their damage just is not there to kill him yet, and it's going to be a long time before that is. It's kind of the same situation as we saw with Dendy. It took 4 to kill Dendy. It's going to take 4 to kill G.
And you see Dendy, speaking of him, pushing out the bottom lane here. He does have Spirit Breaker and Darkseer nearby, but this time Tree Protector again also here. Go back to the choice again, passing up that Overgrowth. Still doesn't have it. I'm sure at level 7 he's probably going to get it. I mean, especially with what happened in the last fight, like it would have been nice to have throughout that. So
yeah, I mean, they're really posting up hard here looking for Dendy with this deep ward from the Vega side. But yeah, it's a little strange, especially when there's a Ion Shell on Dire's side just to rip through the living armor. And Dark Pact, honestly. I mean, there's multiple ways just to strip the armor off. So to commit extra points in that instead of Overgrowth's, I don't want to say questionable, but it's strange.
Top lane, DK. Doesn't have his old dragon form here. He's just going to have to run the mana burn, preventing that Omni Slash even coming out. Really want this kill. He's still very tanky. The armlet toggle, he's going to use it once again. The surge comes out. What a play by G to ultimately survive right there. And I mean, I know his hero in general is pretty bulky, but man, that was some good avoiding there eventually to buy the time for the support to come in. The glimpse back, no, the spin though from Juggernaut will prevent him. And he's going to be fine here.
The Bond Screams!
Oh, you're right. Yeah, they're all bonds up, but
it would have been a luck thing. Like, the armlet toggle would have had to come when you're hitting them, but the potential was there, and you weren't going to die.
well, they play the safe route. Didn't know for sure.
I said it was going to take 4 to kill G. That was 3 with an Omni Slash. So the guy's just insanely tanky. And the amazing toggle there for the Omni Slash. If you toggle Armlet on when burst damage is coming through, you're essentially taking only the Armlet drain from it. Because you're gaining the health right away, and then it's gone anyway.
Bottom lane, don't think they're going to get a kill out of this, but just going to say hello and allow G to pick up more farm. Again, that Armlet first item pickup, and now he's going the Shadow Play. We don't get to see DK too often, but would you say this is a bit of a traditional build here?
Yeah, this is pretty standard. The deviations from this that you could see, Deso if you really need to push early, Blink if you're lacking initiation, but Shadow Blade's pretty much the standard.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Well, again, has a Shadow Amulet, so almost there. As far as G in that build, he's going to be seen rotating in by the Vendetta Nyx Assassin. He pops the other Dragon form. Going to get more support here, though, so possible fight going to be breaking out. Iron Shell applied to Dragonite. No vacuum yet for Darkseer, though. That's kind of key as well. He has the wall, but doesn't have a way to kind of bring them in here.
Yeah, taking the cast range over getting the point in vacuum is very interesting.
Some odd choices. And Trant does not get his Overgrowth again. He hits level 7, so he maxes out the living armor. We are seeing some curious decisions. Kinetic Field, Static Storm will catch Nyx Assassin and kind of zoning out the rest. Chaotic Offering, though, in the backlines. The Fiddle Bonds is put out. Pycat, though, can't really get close enough to the DK. Instead, he'll go for the Spear Breaker. Off to the side. Spear Breaker should be able to take down right here. And yes, he will go down to the Fiddle Bonds. Again, spreading some damage. Danny's not done just yet. Just like last game on the Storm Spirit. He wants to go in still, but actually will be glimpsed back right there. And that'll be the end of it, so easy tower kill as well.
General's hunting. He wants the Slark.
Vendetta again. Oh yeah, Haster, jeez.
Yeah, I can't imagine you risk going for that, though. Slark knows if you're hunting him, because all of a sudden his Shadow Dance will go away for no reason.
Yep, there we go.
So, yep.
Either they got a ward, or yeah, you see him ping right there.
Yeah.
It's probably the Nyx.
So whenever there's not an invis hero, that ping means throw a sentry here. I'm going to be very upset with you. But against an invis, it's a lot more difficult. You never know if it's necessarily Nyx hunting you, but he can be reasonably sure. Had just pathed over that area and it didn't go away. So we're kind of seeing what happens though with the Midas pickup here on Darkseer, or on Slark, because he was totally unable to join in that fight. Knew he wasn't going to do anything super productive, and just said, I got to get Shadowblade, guys. I can't do anything yet.
That is a downside of going that first out of Midas here, but the real you, just like the DK though, just about has that Shadowblade now, so they're going to have a couple here and definitely be much more combat ready once both of those come out, let alone the one for Dragon Knight, which is just about finished. And a Blink, however, just picked up by Nyx. So yeah, speaking of his hand of Midas earlier on, he is definitely making use of his farm. Bottom lane though, Pycat, they're charging him. 3 more are here ready to assist. The Living Armor's already put up though, and he's falling back. He has plenty of support nearby. Now Treant Protector does have overgrowth. Is he in range? Yes, he is in range. He'll use it right there. That had to be Max. And Spirit Breaker, though, he's like, all right, another strike and go away. Can he get away is a question, though. Impale lands on both. Not the easiest time to land, but he does a good job of it right there. Static Storm zoning them out, though. It does catch a Juggernaut. No, it catches Treant Protector, actually, with the kinetic field. The wall's put down as well, but they're just going to walk around it, actually. Glimpse back on a Timbersaw, but is it going to be enough to save their teammates? Impale's ready to go again for Nyx. He opens, he misses the Impale. Mentioned earlier, it's not the easiest stun to land, but it's going to be enough still to take out Disruptor. And maybe be the end, unless Darkseer, well, he could still be in some trouble, actually. He's going to surge.
Should be out if he just goes straight left.
Radiant's middle tower.
If he tries to
the greedy Ion Shell?
Yeah, then Nyx Spite Carapace stun comes out, and now he's in trouble.
Yeah, Tree's literally hunting him, porting to a different tower, keeping his invis through the port. Can't find him though.
No.
Takes the wrong juke path.
He is buying a lot
To
of
be honest,
time.
the kill potential on him there is still pretty low.
Yeah.
He has another surge left after this one and a full on, but that was entertaining. I love watching people when they just have the Shadow Amulet using it, because you can use it while you're running and don't stop until your fade time is up. So if you do that and constantly just spam move, you can drop in and out of targeting every 1 point whatever seconds, which can be kind of funny. You can disjoint an Omni Slash is the big thing with it.
You see G, he has gone straight into the Silver Edge here. At least he has that queued up. And
Interesting.
Timbersaw, is that kind of the key?
Well, okay, so the way Silver Edge works on Timber, it doesn't get rid of any reactive stacks he has, it just stops him from generating new ones. So if you go on him when he has 0, it makes him incredibly squishy. If you'd go on him right now when he's rolling 20, it doesn't do anything.
That's
so
interesting.
it's good. It does help him in the man fight against Juggalot, though, because it takes away Blade Dance.
Well, we got Pycat being opened on right here by Slark. Slark realizing this might have been a poor decision, though. Shadow Dance is popped. Very much defensive abilities used right here as part of Static Storm. He gets out of the overgrowth immediately, though, due to the Dark Pact, and he will take out Juggernaut in the end. So a nice overgrowth initially, but obviously didn't matter on the part of Slark at least. The chaotic offering used, but they're spread out pretty well. Warlock being run down and gets killed. And Alcima, he wants another target, but I don't think he's going to find it, actually. And the Warlock Golem just almost seems lost here as far as what he wants to do.
Poor guy.
Yeah, his owner's dead, unfortunately, so
The lost
has to
puppy
accept
wandering
death
the
as well.
streets of New York.
I'm sad now. G? Uh-oh. I don't know if they're killing him, though.
It's G, yeah. I mean, and the question is going to be, when can they kill him? Because Timber does great damage to him, especially if he procs a Q next to a tree, gets the pure damage and the strength stat loss, but General's in trouble here. There's a gem on Slark already that was bought immediately after the Shadowblade came out.
Ooh, but General's going to live, and that's going to be so frustrating if you're Vega Squadron here. Now Timbersaw going in. Again, has that reactive armor, though. The Bloodstone 12 charges, so he's not too worried about
Casual
that.
Ion Shell on a creep ended up bringing Nyx down in the end.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, wow, jeez. Okay, so they do get the kill.
Yep. That was a huge charge from Sima. Stopped the Dendy mid-Timber chains.
Dire's middle
The
tower
Dendy.
is under attack.
But yeah, ended up making it so Slark was fairly easy to get out there, and then 10 seconds later is full health. So Well played from Sima here. Definitely making some big plays on the Spirit Breaker.
Yeah.
Just being this disruptive force in team fights. And I gotta say, this Timber pick has felt very, very underwhelming. For being a last pick and kind of your counter to their lineup, he just hasn't had any pop.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, 1, 2, and 1, that kind of reflects it right there, right? You know, maybe we're thinking too much because of how he did last game on the Storm Spirit and how he just took over, but it's a fair point to make that, yeah, Timbersaw as a hero, though, hasn't necessarily been the biggest threat, it feels like, in these fights. So, sure, in the laning phase, he definitely did very well, but even with that, you know, he did die earlier on, which was a little bit of a surprise. So, yeah, not nearly as strong of a game this time around from Dendy and the Timbersaw, and that's definitely hurting Navi's chances here. As Juggernaut, again, Pycat, he is, once again, just like last game, doing pretty well. He's got the Mantis style, and he's up there on net worth, but he's going up against the DK and the Slark, who are both doing that much better. And Slark also finished his own Silver Edge here already.
Yeah, that came out quick. I'm loving what Pycat has in Quick Bite here. Maelstrom on Jug has been long forgotten, and it's still the best damage item you can get in the game, and as far as the amount you spend on it. And it's going to be absolutely crucial in trying to eventually bring this DK down. It's going to compound so well with everything they do. Eventually, when the Maelstrom comes out, Ion Shell is going to be proccing it, Thunderstrike, Dark Pack. There's so many ways that it's going to just do a ton of damage.
Yeah.
If they get there. I mean, at this point, Vega might not let them. Vega's being very, very oppressive in their approach.
They are. 3 heroes down here at the bottom lane trying to get this tower. There goes the other Dragon form. It's level 2 currently, so a little bit more enhanced here. And he's going to be ported on, actually, so be careful about this. Somebody got glimpsed back.
Look at Dendy.
Yeah, he flies in right here, but looking to make a play and trying to run them down, actually. Tree Protector doesn't have died in the midst of it. Disruptor, though, he is going to be chased down, and the spin comes out from Pyka. But now here's the real you. Slark coming in the party. Spirit Breaker also joins, and they're going to take out Dendy on that Timbersaw. General, he's going to blink dagger away.
I don't even care. Dendy hit the glip chains. That's just too fun.
So that's what so it was the glimpse back and he chained in, yeah.
Yeah, so everyone knows the fountain hooking thing, right? You know, your Pudge, you get sent back by your Chen, you hook someone at the right time and they come all the way back to fountain with you.
Yeah.
That has now been fixed. That interaction is not yet, though. Ooh, Darkseer.
We're not done just yet. Yeah, Darkseer, he is going to be bashed through and pops the mech even. He really wants to live. We saw him earlier. He made his escape. Oh, my God.
Nice.
Surge coming back up in a second. Yeah, he should be good.
2 seconds till blink. It's got to be a blink impale.
Can they land it, though? The vacuum goes off right there, clearing the trees, giving him his path, if anything, but
nice.
It's not going to matter.
That's a really hard impale to hit from General. I mean, I gotta say, General actually waited an extra second on the blink till he had Carapace up in hopes that Darkseer had Ion Shelled himself just to get a blink Carapace and actually get an easier stun. But that's a big pickup in slowing momentum here. Navi needed something. They've been struggling to find anything good in these team fights. Last one was a token disruptor kill, and in return you lost Dendy +1.
Oh, bottom lane. They're going to push the tier 1 tower in, but it doesn't seem like Vega Squadron wants to give this up necessarily, but they're not going to be able to defend in time. They are nearby. Going to prevent a secondary tower from going down, at least. And we'll see if Navi wants to continue to go with this. They're going to find Disruptor off to the side. General scouts him out.
Yeah, lays the sentry down as well. Navi really either needs to get a gem of their own or they need to get this one off Slark. Like, it's worth ultimates at this point. It's worth committing everything. You desperately need vision control back so that your Nyx has some room to move and you can get some of these deep wards off the map. Look at Vega's warding right now. It's the entire Radiant Tremble.
Yeah. That's a lot of aggressive vision down here, as he's pointing out, the middle lane even. He's got a ward thrown in there, so on this bottom side of the map, it's being controlled pretty heavily by Vega Squadron. You look at Navi's vision, nothing really past the river here for them at this point. So yeah, the split push continues to be very solid by Vega Squadron as well. They Slark's the top lane, he got DK bottom, and both with the Silver Edge, so they have great mobility right here, and they're taking advantage.
And if you're Navi now, the question is, how do you find an opening? How do you find something? And it's all of their catch really is in ultimates. It's in Overgrowth and Chaotic Offering, and to commit those on 1 or 2 heroes is really hard. So finding Silent here would be huge, but it might just get turned around on them. General's being charged, Static Storm.
Oh. Nixie popped that spiked carapace and actually four-staffed out of the kinetic field Static
MVP
Storm.
4 stuff.
That's a big item to have against
He
that
just
combo.
picked it up too. Like he has no gold. That was the most recent pickup from him. He's been working towards it for a while, and that's a huge payoff. Get that Spirit Breaker image.
I just love DK too. You know, he's pushing the bottom tower during that. He gets a pretty low living armor supply is going to heal up a little bit, but the point is he just popped his whole dragon form, and actually he's going to, yeah, Denny's in trouble. Denny's going to fall right here even. He got the assistance from Darks here at the end. So I was talking about his tower push, but yeah, that dragon tail, 3.25 second stun.
Yeah, and he came out with the Silver Edge too, so there weren't any reactive stacks on Dendy yet, making him incredibly squishy. There's no other armor item on Dendy yet, so he only has 4 armor. That's very low for 27 minutes into the game.
But the fact that he wasn't intimidated by the TPs coming in, he just still kind of stood there, and then eventually he's like, all right, I'll Silver Edge away and reset, and obviously we saw the end result right there. So, again, very good play across the board by G on the Dragon Knight, and, you know, this pick is definitely proving to be a very good one this game,
Yeah.
despite not the most popular.
I think it's extremely strong in the meta. It's just the laning phase for DK is so boring. You know nothing's really going to happen.
Hastrun, bottled up by Dragon Knight. He's looking for a kill chance. He wouldn't have his ulti for him, but
Na'Vi needs to find something that doesn't require Pycat to be there. That's really hard to ask of them right now, but he needs time. He needs to get to this Mjolnir.
wow, that's an easy kill
Ooh,
right
they
there.
committed a
Chaotic
lot.
offering in response, so they better at least get the Spirit Breaker. They like to get DK, but I don't think that's happening. Kinetic Field gonna help keep them away, although Timbersaw wants to go in. You gotta be a little bit careful, got 2 deep here. I believe he got glimpsed back though, so I almost want to say, you know, they could have turned that actually, so glimpsing it back almost kind of saves Timbersaw, but
Maybe it would have been a hard kill, but Omnislash was down, Chaotic Offering was down. Yeah, at the very least, I don't think best case scenario for Na'Vi, no one dies there.
yeah.
If Timber doesn't get glimpsed. But if you're silent, you just want to protect your team. It's fine. You lost one, traded him for the tree. Call it good and move on. Tree opted for a Midas, like very, very, very late Midas. So I don't know what he's gonna do with it. He doesn't have the blink, and we saw how influential that was in the first game.
And now you got this Slark, man. That BKP, yeah, it's just, this guy is just getting so much farm. 16,000 net worth. Juggernaut's putting in middle lane, but again, the Elder Dragon form, he's just going to stand his ground. Static Storm comes out as well, pops his over edge. Nice overgrowth right here. Spirit Breaker charging in, though. Dragon Knight is getting fairly low, but now Slark joins the party, and that's where it gets extra scary for Na'Vi. The vacuum wall combination in the back lines. Not a lot of follow-up after, though. Kinetic Field can't really catch anyone, and instead Slark will pounce away. Mana burn on him, so he is currently out of mana now. And the rest are going to run. So good response from Na'Vi right there. But no kills coming out of it in the end.
Nobody died. I feel like it's going to be the story of many of the skirmishes from here on out. There's just a lot of defensive tools on both teams. And yeah, it's going to be hard to find the damage for many things unless like Warlock gets caught out.
Well, how about DK as far as scaling goes? You know, he's going to have a BKB next, but is this a hero that you're going to be worried about on Navi's side as far as, you know, taking off later in the game?
I mean, probably slightly more than Timbersaw. Like, you always got to compare it to the matchup they're in. And while his damage doesn't seem as strong in the later game, he ends up just being borderline unkillable, so he'll just BKB, right-click your towers, and they'll fall down. He's a great sieger, which is what they really need, because Slark is not very good at hitting buildings.
Timbersaw. He's going to be found here, but don't think they're going to really be able to command without their cores. Although Sime wants to keep them nearby because said cores are coming. Slark, in fact, going to be the first one here. Seneko trying to run. Overgrowth, he's thinking about it. He's like, do I use it? Nah. Be a waste at that point. So
Yeah, and Slark with a brand new BKB, too. He's in good shape to fight. Good job holding the overgrowth there, but this is looking a little rough for Na'Vi. Pycat is still farming up well. Full Mjolnir done. That's a lot of damage if he can stick to somebody.
Dragon Knight just running in. I mean, he was seen initially by the sentry, but he takes a mana burn. He still kind of goes up a little again. He just feels so comfortable right now. He has that ulti form. He has the BKB impel. It's going to go through, but just to harass, and they're just going to keep this going.
Dire's middle
Why
tower
not?
is under
Got
attack.
level 3 Elder Dragon form now, as we see right there, with the Frost Breath.
There they go.
They're going to jump Disruptor. That's a good big kill off the bat. Actually, no, he gets the Static Storm off, though, with the Vacuum Wall combo on top of it. In comes the Chaotic offering a response, but Timbersaw's dropping pretty quickly. Mjolnir on him, trying to help out. It is going to be enough to actually get away with the Timber Chain, but down goes Treant Protector. And Na'Vi, again, in full retreat mode. Biver going to be run down as well. Double kill for G. Both teams landing some decent ultimates there. It's just, again, Vega Squadron, just that much better farm, and this Dragon Knight especially, just so bulky in these fights.
Yeah, I mean, getting the static off was definitely important there. Most of the core abilities had gotten off by Na'Vi already, but it just put a ton of pressure on Dendi, making him back out right away. And without Dendi kind of having free reign to throw spells in, they definitely don't have the damage on Na'Vi to take any fight right now.
Gonna pop a Shrine. No Roshan being done just yet, but something tells me that's going to be on the menu here soon, at least for Vega Squadron. And it seems like that's going to be the option right now.
Seems good.
Why not? AC is queued up for DK. Obviously going to be a great item to have. Lincoln's picked up on Slark. This it was reminiscent. We saw, what was it, a Shadow Fiend yesterday, I want to say, in the Alliance series. Yeah, Alliance Limp played it, where he went just all out defensive items. It proved to be the great choice, but it's just, we kind of see that similar here on Slark. You know, the Lincolns, the BKB, Silver Edge, sure, more offensive in a sense, but
well, he knows the sustained damage isn't there for Na'Vi right now.
yeah.
And he's getting forced out of fights still, and he's tanky.
Pycat is getting locked down left and right. Overgrowth finally comes out, but this BKB of Slark he's still running after. Don't get any kills just yet, but they're going to get one on Treant and probably another on Nyx. There we go. I mean, so they saved the main target in Pycat, but two supports essentially going down, and they were doing Rosha, but they're like, hey, we're at a tower. Let's go ahead and push that instead. Almost getting distracted of sorts.
Yeah.
They'll take it.
Like, Pycat needs, like, Butterfly, Scotty to even be relevant at this point. Going Diffusal just so he can stick to people. It's the budget version of Scotty at this stage in the game for him. He's just really struggling to be productive in these fights.
And there's
And
the Roshan.
I gotta appreciate, I love the way that Vega is tempoing this game out. They got the lead on DK, and they're really pushing it. It's let Slark build super defensively, get a greedy Midas, and yeah, super impressed so far with how well Vega is taking this game overall.
Again, trying to force that third in what would be a final game, of course, at this
We want
rate.
it. We want game 3.
Absolutely, especially with this being our only series here today, at least.
Yeah, well, we can maybe talk to him and make it a best of 5 game.
Yeah, let's just
Change it up.
let's go the distance, man. Best of 7. That doesn't happen often. Silent. He's going to be spun on and will survive. Nope, General. Glimmer Cape, though, keeping him alive for the time being. Charge coming in. You got to be careful about staying too long here for Na'Vi. Okay, they do get the kill on Disruptor. And that will...
Seneko got picked in mid at the same time, though.
Okay.
I'll take that.
So it ends up being a 1-for-1 there. But now they're wrapping around. Slark, Darkseer coming in. Somewhat of a flank position. They scan them out. Oh, boy. He's going to spin out his Pycat. So Pycat will survive. Can Nyx get away now? He just uses Blink. He's going to be found here. And he's probably dead. Yeah. A lot of upfront damage there. Nothing that he could do to survive. So good find there by Vega Squadron once again. And they keep this lead going in their favor. 20,000 net worth now for Slark. Just over 18,000.
Should be a basher up on him very shortly. May end up holding on to buyback until the Aegis is gone. Just not really a reason to spend it, but...
I also like how the real you decided to put the Hannah Midas in his inventory rather than the BKB, but he figures he's not going to use the BKB until after the Aegis anyways.
Yeah, I've noticed him kind of going back and forth on that. The Midas was in the backpack for a while, but yeah, he feels comfortable.
Get that attack speed passive, and also, if it's in your backpack, obviously the timer, the cooldown is much, much longer, so perhaps that has something to do with it as well. Wants to keep the efficiency of the Midas up.
I kind of wish Dendi went a more aggressive build. Like, went hyper defensive, Bloodstone, Hood, duels into plate mail, and I feel like something like Bloodstone Blink Ags maybe would have given them the damage they needed. Because right now it doesn't matter how much damage you tank on Navi's side, you've got to do enough, or you're never getting through this lineup.
Yeah.
Radiant's middle
And they're not
tower
even going to
has
remotely try to fight right there. Obviously, they feel pretty scared, especially with the Aegis on a Slark. Definitely not looking to pick any fights.
By the way, DK's level 25 talents are one of the funnier ones. He can either double his armor and regen on Dragon Blood, so 24 HP a second, 24 armor, or he can just fly like a race car.
Wow, yes.
That's 75 move speed.
It's insane. Oh, they catch Slark, or this is going to be enough, though. Root comes out with the Shadow Dance to use, and the Chakram does plenty, but not enough, and Slark, he'll be fine. He does have the BKB back in his inventory now. So, yeah, he's kind of swapping around a little bit.
So Navi right now is just hoping to get to the Nyx Ags, and then you just Burrow Strike Nyx now that you're pretty much down to defending your base. You have one tier 2 left that's going to fall here eventually, and then you just Burrow Strike Nyx behind your own tower and mana burn out like crazy. If you can keep the Dire Squad out of mana, it ends up being basically just DK clicking buildings. So it eliminates a lot of the threat. So that's what they're trying to get to, is just the siege potential, where they can just stall endlessly with the Nyx Ags.
Secondary tower top lane, easy tower kill up here.
What?
That'll be all.
Wow, Pycat opted for a BKB.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
He's already struggling to find relevance with his items and do damage. Ended up going more defensive.
Yeah, as far as just damage output as a team here on this Radiant side, it does feel lacking overall, and that's, ideally it kind of will help because, again, the mobility that he'll have as a result of having the BKB up, but as you're pointing out, I don't know if it's necessarily the actual answer of what they truly needed here. He still has that Diffusal not queued up also to follow. That'll be a damage enhancement for sure, but hell, you have Slark, he's working on a Moon Shard at this point.
Yeah, he's just huge. The world is his oyster right now. Completely skipping the Basher even. That's how comfortable he feels.
Yeah, looking at all the talents of DK, again, one we don't see in general, the 10 strength, 40 damage, and 300 life, so he's 23, almost 24 here, so we'll keep an eye on when he gets 25, what he goes for. Slark, his 25, and he just get the 12 total stats.
Timbers kind of matters. 6% Whirling Death attribute reduction is really huge in this game. It brings the Whirling Death up to 21% primary attribute loss, and for these big, bulky strength heroes like the DK and Spirit Breaker can really matter.
Seema, he's found up here. He's going to charge on through. Trying to make his escape, actually. And unless they commit a Chaotic Offering, yeah, not doing that. So he's just going to fly on by, and he'll survive. And the game of avoiding one another will continue, really. So Aegis, again, has been reclaimed by now. So Slark, though, he has the Moon Shard actually in his inventory currently. Now he's going to go for that Basher next in line. They catch Nyx Assassin at the bottom lane, meanwhile, and he's going to die pretty quickly. And he's staying dead for 50 seconds. TP, that's going to be canceled as Slark turned his attention to it. That wasn't Juggernaut, was it? No, he still has his. And they're going to push this tier 3 aggressively now. GT comes out.
No overgrowth, no Nyx stun. This is rough.
Oh, Timbersol is caught too. Can't even deny himself, unfortunately. He does have a buyback, though. Easy immediately. Chaotic Offering coming out. Omni Slash bouncing around. Pycat trying to do the damage needed with that BKP up, but again, it just doesn't matter. Still, the lockdown comes through from Seema the Slayer, and down goes Juggernaut. He has a buyback, choosing not to use it yet. He finally will now, is realizing, yeah, I can't give up 2 sets of racks right here for free. The first one going down, though, but this Elder Dragon form has still got a bit left on it. And they'll take the tier 3 middle and fall back from there. They got the buybacks they were looking for. Oh, he's going to go back in, actually. He's going right back into the Juggernaut, and Juggernaut immediately has to spin away.
Why not? He has plus 72 agility right now in Slark. He's hitting like a truck.
Oh, the 24 shift. Yeah, that is adding up. That's true. If you're Vega Squadron, yeah, they want to go back in for sure now with the Nyx pickoff right there. The vacuum coming out, pulling back in several. Trian is going to feel the worst end of that as he goes down, but I feel like that's the game too. We're going to game 3 more than likely, unless Navi some way, somehow can get a miracle hold right here of sorts.
I feel like the real use hit so many people in this fight, and he's at 36 shift stacks. I'm just wondering how that guy in the Kiev game got to 83.
Somebody got 83? Holy crap.
Yeah, it was a troll and a Slark just beating on each other in a Roche pit for like 40 seconds, and no one else touching him.
He's up to
Slark
52.
ended up barely Slark ended up barely creeping out the win and then just basically throwing them off of it because he was doing so much damage.
Well, that is official. Vega Squadron will take game number 2, and we are going to a third and final game. As spectators, obviously, we can appreciate that, so looking forward to a fun finish right here. But I'm with you. As far as, like, you kind of compare the games, as far as a more impressive victory, I think Vega Squadron had the more impressive victory so far going into game number 3.
Yeah, I mean, they outdrafted. This draft was a crushing outdraft.
Yeah.
And we really got to see it. And honestly, Warlock's 0-2 in this series. And I mean, I was mentioned a couple days ago, I don't think Warlock is in the powerhouse spot everyone else is putting him in. Is he a viable pick? Yes. Does he fit in a certain team comp? Sure. But all these teams that are picking him up early on, it just seems like teams are learning to play against it better and really nullifying the effectiveness.
Yeah. Well, in the end, Na'Vi coming up short, but they're going to have a chance to readjust again and go into a game number 3 here. So, going to be a fun finish indeed, but guys, stay tuned. Breaking CPK, joined by Z-Rock here. We got game number 3 of the Summit 7 European qualifying action. Again,